And what is going on, boys and girls? We are back, man. We were gone for about 2 weeks. We're back. Damn, it feels so good to be back. You're checking out an all new, the RCWR show covering WWE Raw Fallout for this April 13th, 2015. A very good Monday to you all. Raw just went off the air a couple of minutes ago. Come one, come all. I want to know what you guys had thought about this episode of Raw as it came to us from London at the famous O2 Arena. I always love watching key events from that arena. It's just so magical. The interactions that come from the fans, it's truly it just gives me goosebumps every time I see any type of an event go down at the O2 Arena. It just gets me to the point that I'm so worked up. I want to actually go out there and experience it for myself, and maybe I will one of these days. Hey, as always, you longtime watchers, fans of ours, we appreciate you checking us out. You newer folks that's out there that's looking for actual WWE Raw footage, you might be able to find what you're looking for on the WWE Fan Nation YouTube channel. They're always posting little clips, highlights of what you might have missed from Raw every single week on there. If you still can't find what you're looking for, hop on over to WWE's website at WWE.com. Share this a number of ways, Facebook and Google Plus, and retweet it. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content, my pretty babies. We have a special sponsor for tonight's episode. And, originally I wasn't going to take this up, but, it's something that really kind of got to the heart, my heart in particular, and I definitely wanted to share this with you all. So bear with me for just a couple of moments here, but this episode is sponsored in part by a special GoFundMe project. Now, before you guys go, this GoFundMe project is definitely something that you may want to look into, or if you can't help out simply by resharing the link on your respective social media pages, I mean, that's enough for me to say, hey, thank you for doing that. But there is a young teenage girl by the name of Kimberly who had got diagnosed with leukemia. And the way it's looking right now, she's been diagnosed with stage 2 leukemia. And she's been fighting the good fight since her diagnosis. And just recently, her family, they went to pay a visit to a doctor to do some bone marrow testing to see if any of them might be a match, so that they can, take the bone marrow from their respective family member and place it into Kimberly. And they won't know for the next several days, maybe a couple of weeks, if one of the family members is a match. If so, then obviously they're going to do the surgery like ASAP, but they're trying to raise enough money. And they were brutally honest with the way that they have their GoFundMe page set up. They're basically trying to raise X amount of money to take care of household bills and groceries while she is in recovery from the transplant. And it's expected that she's going to be in the hospital for probably at least 3+ months until her immune system is efficient enough to allow her to be released. And from there, once she is out, the true recovery begins, as it's going to take about 6 to 8 months, according to doctors, for her to completely be out of the woods onto a healthy road of recovery and all of that. And their goal right now is to raise $20,000. So far, as it stands right now at 11:17 p.m. Eastern on April 13th, 2015, they've raised $170. The thing that I like about this GoFundMe page is that, number one, your money is going to a very worthy cause. Number two, you can choose the amount, whatever you can afford. If you can only afford 5, great. 10, hey, that's awesome. Whatever you can afford, send it their way. Even if you can't afford anything, Lee, I don't have any money right now. Money's so tight for me, honestly. I wish I could donate, but I can't, simply by resharing the links that I have in this episode description, that's definitely something you can do for your respective social media pages. And I do humbly thank you in advance. But let's see if we can help Kimberly out. And this is legit. There's actually a family Facebook page as well where they're posting photos, video updates, all that good stuff. So I did my very best to make sure that everything was legit before putting my name and my show and my brand behind it. So dig in, dig deep. And I thank you humbly in advance for your contributions, whether it's financially or just sharing the links. Again, it's in the episode description down below, so check it out. But you go to GoFundMe.com/Kim's Cancer. Again, that's GoFundMe.com, KIMS, and then cancer, Kim's Cancer. GoFundMe.com/Kim's Cancer. All right. All right. On that note, let's go ahead and let's talk about Raw tonight. So, with this episode of Raw, and of all the weeks that we took off, it was nice that we took last week off because that Raw was just so uneventful. I had got private messages from people that were like, Lee, it's kind of cool you took last week off, man. You didn't miss a damn thing. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's nice to know, because from what I ended up seeing on the DVR, it really wasn't that much. I'm glad we went into this week. This week felt like a so-so episode, but I must say I was more into it this week compared to last week, from the simple fact it was at the O2 Arena, and it's like Bizarro World whenever WWE or any other wrestling company for that matter goes out there, because those fans, they really, really appreciate their wrestling. Look, can we get WrestleMania at the O2 London Arena? I'm just saying, I think that would just be really badass, but that's a topic for another time. We saw some of the matches get announced and match stipulations come from tonight's episode in setting up Extreme Rules that's going to be going down in 2 weeks. Off the break, how about the stipulations that Randy Orton and Seth Rollins put out there? I mean, that was kind of interesting in itself. So basically, we saw Randy Orton. He was in a match originally against Cesaro, and the stipulation for that match was if Randy Orton won his match, then he got to name a stipulation that he would like to go down for his match against Seth Rollins for the WWE title at Extreme Rules. So we see Cesaro, he gets a little help from Kid, whatnot. Basically, long story short, the match ends in a disqualification. Hey, Randy Orton picks up the victory and says, no, with a match and the stipulation of this magnitude, and it's for the WWE title, no, Randy Orton, sorry, you can't get the victory this way. We're going to restart the match, but we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to make it be a 2-on-1 handicap match. It's going to be Cesaro and Kid taking you on. So you're like, okay. Despite the odds, Randy Orton comes through. He gets to name his stipulation. Then we go to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, originally, he was going to have Jamie Noble face him. Basically, he wanted for Jamie Noble to lay down in the middle of the ring, make it be an easy 1, 2, 3. I know when you hear that, you're thinking, oh no, WCW. You're thinking of the finger poke of doom and some other stuff. You're like, yeah, trust me, I know exactly where you're coming from. And it's funny that you're thinking that, because when I initially was thinking that, sure enough, give it a couple of segments later, we see a scenario go down where, jumping ahead a little bit, but Jamie Noble actually shot that idea down and actually says Kane should go on ahead and do it, because some of the decisions Kane's been making the past couple of weeks is the reason why Seth Rollins is in the position that he's in, pretty much going into the Extreme Rules event. Seth Rollins actually thinks it's a pretty groovy idea, and so you're kind of left throughout the night. Each time we see Kane behind the scenes, he's conflicted. We have Big Show's talking to him, and Big Show's saying, hey, look, I know that there's some decisions that you may feel aren't popular that you have to do, but you got to think about the authority. They really have everybody's best interest at heart when they say that, hey, it's best for business, whatever. Um, Me getting $50 off of my groceries every time I shop would be best for business, but that's a different story. But you get the point. Big Show's basically trying to tell Kane, do the right thing, which in Big Show's assessment is to lay down, take the 1, 2, 3. Later on, we see Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan says to Kane, hey, I hope you're not going to go in there and you're not going to lay down. Where's the Kane that took no crap from anybody? Where's the Kane that would look at what's going on right here and would go into that match with Seth Rollins and just give him a tombstone pile driver and a choke slam? So, you kind of got both of these guys stirring the pot up a little bit. You go to that Seth Rollins-Kane match, and we saw Kane be a little bit defiant. He actually tried to give Seth Rollins a match, but Seth Rollins kept trying to remind him, short match at that. It really wasn't that much, folks. It was probably at most maybe about 4 minutes, I would say. We saw very disgusted and conflicted Kane, as much as he wanted for Seth Rollins to earn it, and the fact that Kane was not trying to lay down. Kane just very conflicted. In the end, he would lay down and allow Seth Rollins to pick up the 1, 2, 3. And I actually loved the commentating during that particular segment. I loved how the commentators were driving home. My God, this is supposed to be the brother of The Undertaker. This is one half of the Brothers of Destruction. This is a multi-time champion. For him to just do this, and you have JBL, of all people, who's faced Kane over the years so many times, for him to be in a position that he's in and say, I'm disgusted with Kane, I've lost respect for Kane. You're like, wow, that's some heavy stuff right there, because you think about how JBL's commentating is now. He's kind of like old school Jerry Lawler before the whole puppy crap and all that. If you really kind of think about it, I mean, it's not really of great magnitude, the levels of where Jerry Lawler was long time ago. But he has his moments, and he definitely had his moment right there, as well as the other commentators as they were selling that moment, saying what's next for Kane. And I like how Michael Cole put in there, but look, you saw Kane was just disgusted. He was battling himself within. And some of you may be saying to yourselves, well, why didn't Kane just do whatever he wanted to do? He's the director of operations. Well, see, last week he was able to get away with XYZ because the authority, Triple H and Stephanie, they were on vacation, and supposedly they were on a island where there was no reception and all that. So pretty much anything goes. But this week, well, they were back in the States, resting up, probably taking care of some business at Stamford, Connecticut, who knows. And Seth Rollins did threaten Kane at one point, saying, I can always give Triple H a phone call and let him know what's going on. I'm quite sure I know the decision he would make as far as whether or not you're going to be laying down for me. So that sets it up, in which, by the way, we were just talking about Triple H. Triple H will be returning next week, and one of the big things that's going to be coming from out of his return is the future of Tough Enough. I know Tough Enough has been in the headlines the past couple of weeks. What's going on with Stone Cold Steve Austin? Doesn't look like Austin is hosting the series. Okay, so who's going to host it next? Hearing reports that it might be Chris Jericho. All this stuff that's going on. No ETA on when it's going to premiere and all that. Meanwhile, you have just a slang of other shows that's going to be premiering exclusively on the WWE network. One of the shows which we found out about tonight, it was actually one of my favorites. I loved it when it was around. And it's so funny that I can get into that, but I cannot watch an episode of Total Divas. I don't get that. But in either case, the Diva Search, yes, guys, the Diva Search is returning, and I am ecstatic for that. I remember, I'm just thinking about the ones I participated in. I remember voting for Layla. I mean, the first time I saw her and I heard her background and all that, I'm like, all the way, Layla. I just kept voting for Layla. Uh, Kelly, I didn't really care. No, no, not Kelly. Who's the girl with the Ashley? Yeah, I voted for Ashley. I think those were the main ones. I like really jumped in and I was like just voting every single week. I don't really remember the other ones. I have to actually dig up the cobwebs in my mind. I'm sure I'm probably missing a couple of Diva Search winners from that. Oh, yeah, I am, as a matter of fact. Maria Kanellis. Yeah, she was another one that had won it. I remember voting for her as well. Yeah, so I'm glad that they're actually bringing that series back. Good stuff right there. So we were talking about Seth Rollins. As a result of him winning his match against Kane, he too got to name a stipulation for the Extreme Rules match. Now, let me just put you guys in the hot seat. Marinate on this for a few ticks. So if you're the WWE champion, Randy Orton's somewhat been a little bit of a thorn in your keister for the past several weeks. What stipulation would you put out there at Extreme Rules to basically be done with Randy Orton once and for all? Marinate on that for a few takes. We'll come back to it. Meanwhile, Randy Orton, his stipulation was he wanted to face Seth Rollins inside of a steel cage, because his whole thing is, what would happen if you didn't have access to the authority? They couldn't help you out. You didn't have J&J security. What would happen if it's just you fighting me one-on-one in a fair fight inside of a steel cage? And so Randy Orton decided steel cage, that's the way to go. You know, I hear that, and I mean, I can't help but kind of get excited, but then at the same time, I can't help but say, well, my God, what's to stop J&J security or some other folks to come on down there, knock out the referee? I mean, you can do that, right? Grab the key, get on in there, help out Seth Rollins, or better yet, have J&J security be under the ring the whole time, and once the steel cage is lowered, have them come out towards the end of the match. They, along with Seth Rollins, beat the living crap out of Randy Orton, and Seth Rollins retains that way. You see what I'm saying? And I really would not be that surprised if that's how it were to go down. I'm just saying. I don't know. For me, the stipulation was just, okay, well, how is Seth Rollins gonna maybe come back or whatnot? Seth Rollins, his stipulation is the RKO will be banned during this match. As far as he's concerned, Randy Orton's greatest move in his arsenal, the greatest thing that Randy Orton has, is his RKO. And basically, without the RKO, I don't know, guys. If that would have been me, now that we've kind of set this up, remember the question I asked earlier? If you were the WWE champion, what stipulation would you put in there for that Extreme Rules match against Randy Orton? Did you have enough time to think about it? I'm just thinking from that whole writing standpoint or whatnot. And look, you can disagree with me on this, but I think I might be on to something. This man, Randy Orton, has been like hounding Seth Rollins for weeks. Don't you think it would have made a little bit more sense for Seth Rollins to go, Randy Orton, here's my stipulation for our match at Extreme Rules. If I beat you, and I know I will, then as long as I'm the WWE champion, you'll never, ever get another title shot. I just think it would have made a little bit of sense, a little bit more sense, especially from the standpoint of Seth Rollins. You know, he kind of fits this whole demeanor we've been getting from him. He's trying to do everything to protect his championship. He's trying to make sure that everybody that is working alongside him, that they are doing their damnedest to protect him, protect his championship. I mean, Randy Orton, that makes so much more sense. And plus, it brings that level of excitement for the viewers to say to themselves, well, damn, now that Seth Rollins has eliminated Randy Orton, who's next to maybe step up to the plate? Because that's it for Randy Orton. He's not going to be able to get any more title shots. So who's next? I don't know. To me, that just would have made a little bit more sense. I'm kind of getting the impression that there could possibly be one more pay-per-view with these guys. And I would hope not, because, let's be for real. The WrestleMania match that these two guys had, it was so-so. But what really made that match was that RKO out of nowhere. I mean, that spot alone is what really had people talking. Not so much of the match. I don't recall seeing a lot of people or talking to a lot of people saying, oh my God, that match was 5-star quality. It was like, did you see that spot with the RKO? And then when you kind of go back and say, well, what did you think about the match itself? It's like, I don't really remember. I just remember the spot. Or others will say, yeah, the match was okay, but that spot, man, that's what's mainly going to have them talking. So I don't know, to each its own, but I think that stipulation could have been put out there. As far as Randy Orton's stipulation goes, for me, it would have been a little bit more interesting if maybe Randy Orton had said, well, look, if I win, not only do I get your WWE Championship belt, but also if I win, my stipulation is that if I beat you, then you will have to remove yourself from the authority. What's better than a lone Seth Rollins? I just wish they kind of would have went in that direction. Just would have made a little bit more sense. I don't know. To each its own. Let's talk about some other stuff that went down on tonight's Raw. Big Show. You gotta feel sorry for the Big Show, man. Big Show. Man, we saw Roman Reigns deliver what I thought was probably his second best promo of this calendar year. I mean, he was smooth and natural tonight. I was just really loving it. I was kicking back on my tablet. I see him come out and he's doing his interview with Booker T. And I mean, he kept it short, but it was on point. And it just seemed like, it almost kind of felt like the powers that be in WWE just said to him, don't worry about a script tonight. These are your bullet points. Go out there, have some fun. And I love how basically he in a nutshell, he basically was talking about how, he went to Suplex City. He came out. He's still standing strong. And, he didn't go with that whole, I think I can BS crap. Whatever his little catchphrase is on his T-shirt. I can, I will, or whatever. He didn't go that route. He was saying ass and kick this person's ass. And I like that manly type of tough talk that we got from him. That's the Roman Reigns that I fell in love with when he was in the Shield for the first half after he broke up from the Shield. That's the Roman Reigns that I think many of us was like, this guy is a freaking badass. And I liked how he directed his attention towards the Big Show, saying, young, you keep sticking your nose in my business, I'm going to put you in your place. And we saw Big Show appear on the Jumbotron, as Roman Reigns would make fun of, since Big Show's a big guy and all, Jumbotron. And pretty much Big Show said to him, I'm going to make it be my sole mission to embarrass you and prove that you are nothing more than a laughing stock in the WWE. That is like my agenda now. And Roman Reigns basically said to him, I've knocked you in the mouth so many times. I think we're about even, but you want to keep sticking your nose in my business. Come bring it. Pretty much that segment was over. Roman Reigns was going to the back. He actually got attacked by the Big Show. I pretty much set up Big Show choke slamming Roman Reigns on top of one of the London taxi cars that was a prop over by the main stage area. Great little spot right there. So, yeah, I know some of you guys are probably moaning and groaning as, the way it's looking right now, we're probably going to see Roman Reigns take on Big Show one-on-one at the pay-per-view. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm not really that excited myself, guys. I love the reactions that was coming from this London crowd, especially to the Big Show. I just felt bad for the Big Show. I was laughing, but I felt bad for the Big Show. They were actually chanting, "Please retire." And they actually chanted, "You fat bastard." Yeah, you heard me right. They actually chanted, "You fat bastard." I just couldn't help but kind of go, damn, that was a little intense. But that match will probably be announced, if not on this week's SmackDown. I would think next week that match will be announced. Also, while we're talking about matches and stipulations and all that, we had saw a great opener there. Let's not also forget the way Raw opened up tonight. For those of you that did not watch it, Raw opened up not with a 25-minute promo, thank God. It pretty much opened up with John coming out, the London crowd chanting, "John Cena sucks." John Cena welcoming the audience and pretty much putting out his next open challenge. We saw Bad News Barrett come out. Great pop that he got. This is his hometown crowd and everything. And great match. I don't know, man. I really have been enjoying the new move that John Cena's been doing. I mean, it's like, it's so spontaneous. A little sloppy, but it's very spontaneous. This little off the rope. What the hell is that? A stunner or whatever? Great stuff right there. That was actually one of my favorite matches now that I'm kind of playing it back in my head. And on a side note, I want to thank those of you that had took the time out to comment on our live with Chris Jericho review as John Cena was his special guest. I was so amazed. And some of you all need to be like, I won't say look at yourselves in the mirror, but some of you all really need to ask yourselves, okay, am I really aware that wrestling, as far as the finishes go, they're predetermined? What I'm seeing on my TV, at the end of the day, these individuals are playing characters and that they are not in any shape or form shaping up to what these people are in real life, that what these people are in their personal lives is in no way a reflection or in 100% is accurate to what I'm seeing on TV. Some of you all need to really re-educate yourselves on fact and fiction, because I was just amazed at the number of comments that came in from people that were like, John Cena sucks, John Cena this, John Cena that. Now look, I've let it be no secret, I've had my fair share of irritation of the John Cena character, but what we got on that Jericho podcast, we got a taste of the man behind the character, just the man himself, for those 58 minutes that we saw him on Jericho. And I don't know, I just thought that was interesting. I'll talk a little bit more about it on Tuesday, but I was just amazed that we asked you to comment on the review, or not the review, but we asked you to comment on the podcast itself if you watched it, and I couldn't help but say to myself, I wonder how many of these people saying these crappy things actually watched the podcast, and how many of them just wanted to use the opportunity to just bash John Cena just for the hell of it. I don't know, but to each its own. But that Wade Barrett John Cena match tonight was actually a very good match. You see the title of this episode. Yes, Adrian Neville, he was in action tonight. He lost. He lost to Dolph Ziggler. But I tell you what, man, I mean what I say in the title of this episode. Adrian Neville is freaking money. I look, man, I am proud to say I've been a fan of this guy since NXT. I was watching him for months. I was watching him right when he became the NXT champion and all of that. And I've been impressed with him. I've been impressed with his work on the main roster. If you're keeping track so far, he's taken on Curtis Axel. He took on Seth Rollins. And like I said, this week he took on um, Dolph Ziggler. Damn good matchup that those guys had. But if I got to be brutally honest, since he's been on the main roster so far, I've actually enjoyed his match with Seth Rollins more than the other two matches we've seen him in this far. He is really, to me, at least in my eyes, I don't know how it is for you guys, but he's definitely proving in my mind to truly be earning his keep on the main roster. He is a welcome breath of fresh air. And I tell you what, man, if he continues to rise the way he's been rising, I tell you what, man, that man just may be able to surpass Daniel Bryan. I know we got some hardcore Daniel Bryan fans out there, but he just may surpass Daniel Bryan. I mean, we'll wait and see. But damn, that guy is money. I love Adrian Neville. That's the freaking man. I don't know how it is for you guys, but with Adrian Neville, whenever I see him come on, I stop whatever I'm doing because I know what he's getting ready to do is going to be entertaining as hell. Whoever else he's working with, he's going to make them shine. I didn't feel so much those vibes when I was watching Dean Ambrose take on Adam Rose tonight. That was such a random what the hell match. I was scratching my head saying, why are we getting this? This is kind of like beneath Dean Ambrose. What the hell? And look, I know we got some people that's going, but Lee, what do you think about, and I'm prepared for this, what do you think about Adrian Neville? He lost to Seth Rollins. He lost to Dolph Ziggler. Shouldn't he be on some type of an undefeated streak? Or he's not exactly going over well, in my opinion, because this isn't how his first couple of weeks should be going on the main roster. On the contrary, I have no problem with the way he's being built. It's obvious to me that they aren't trying to go with the whole undefeated streak and all this other. They're not trying to go with that silly little thing. They aren't trying to go the Rusev route or whatever like that. They're just putting a really great technical wrestler that's in there. I love the way that they built him up. They mentioned the fact that he was one of the longest reigning NXT champions in the company's history. I love the fact that they talked about how he was the only man to have held the NXT and the NXT tag team titles. I love how they acknowledge his previous accomplishments in NXT. They're building him up very well. And quite honestly, if you're going to have him suffer these losses right now, I think it makes a whole lot sense to get them in there while it's real nice and early. I really don't have a problem with him losing. I mean, those matches, as long as they're nice and close, like it was with Ziggler and Seth Rollins, I mean, that's just always going to have people like, I think people will walk away more on a positive note with the burning images of their mind of how awesome of a match that was and how excited they were over it, as opposed to, he lost. This sucks. What the hell is WWE doing? Blah, 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 blah. Fandango, be prepared. I know that we're probably going to see a scenario come about where maybe Fandango is possibly going to get a little bit of a mini push. I hope not. I still remember the last time Raw was in London and we had it was like right when we were like first introduced to the Fandango character. And I mean, they went bonkers. They went ape crap out there doing the whole Fandango and all that. And then the next thing you know, it kind of seemed like there was something for God, like months with Fandango until it just did like a slow fade away. It's like that old car that you don't want anymore, and you just push it off the cliff in the middle of the night. And then you say, "Oh, my car was stolen," and you're trying to claim money off of it or whatever. I hope this is not the beginning of a push. I hope that WWE management doesn't look at this and go, um, well, maybe we need to give Fandango another chance there. I hope that's not the case. I don't want to see that happen. It was a one-time deal. Should be interesting to see what happens when WWE comes back to the States next week. Like I said, when they're out there in London, it is Bizarro Land. That's all it is. It's Bizarro Land. Other quick notes: Lucha Dragons, some more NXT guys I've really been enjoying. They picked up a victory over the Ascension. I don't know what's going on with the Ascension's Connor. I mean, he's got the whole Red Rooster Terry Taylor thing going on with his hair now. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. Just do a little Bing or Google search. Type in Red Rooster Terry Taylor. Enough said. All right. But I don't know what was going on with that. But that Lucha Dragons Ascension match, that was actually another one that I really enjoyed. Divas, I got to make sure we show them some love. We saw a Divas Battle Royal match, which consisted of Paige, Natalya, Naomi, Summer Rae, Emma, Alicia Fox, Rosa Mendez, Cameron. Your winner of that one was Paige. As a result of that, Paige is now going to be able to face Nikki Bella at Extreme Rules for the Divas title. Afterwards, Paige would cut a promo. And, she's another hometown favorite. So she was just soaking it up and putting it all out there to the crowd, letting them know she appreciated the love and the support. When all of a sudden we saw Naomi attack her from behind. And you're like, wow, what the hell is going on with Naomi? Well, what's up right here? Most importantly, where's one of the Usos to pull Naomi off of Paige? What's going on right here? Well, we would later find out in a backstage interview with Byron Saxton that Naomi and man, I think this was a very interesting promo right here because, and look, I'm not overanalyzing this. I say whatever comes to my mind. I don't rehearse. I don't script anything. I just call it how I see it, freestyle off the break. Some of the key things that Naomi said as far as why she attacked Paige. I like how she brought up AJ Lee. And in case you missed it by now, AJ Lee has retired from in-ring competition with the WWE. Naomi basically said, look, we saw what happened with AJ Lee for a good amount of years. It was all about AJ, but, now she's retired. She's done. It's time for the other divas to step up. And, for me, that definitely means that it's time for me to step up because you look at me and, all the time I've been putting in and, I keep getting overlooked. And meanwhile, you got people saying that AJ Lee, such a great wrestler. Are you kidding me? You got people saying that AJ Lee is going to be a WWE Hall of Famer. Come on, let's get real. And, I just couldn't help but take little notes of that and just boom, instantly say, I wonder if this is key individuals behind the scenes in WWE basically letting their voice be heard through Naomi as far as AJ Lee going into the WWE Hall of Fame. No, there's no chance in hell that that's going to happen because when it's all said and done, that is Mrs. Phil Brooks. And I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Honestly, I'm surprised AJ didn't leave a lot sooner when you had all this lawsuit crap that was going on. I'm surprised that she didn't leave as soon as that all had dropped. Quite honestly, I'm surprised that she didn't leave as soon as CM Punk was like, you know what, forget this, I'm done. I'm surprised, but it might have been a situation like with many jobs, you kind of got to support your significant other, hey, this is the decision they want to make, they want to stay with that, okay, good. You can air out your grievances, of course, but ultimately, if that's something that they want to continue to pursue, then at that point, you have to just learn how to be a good spouse and support them. So that's probably what had went down, possibly between CM Punk and AJ. But I just thought it was kind of interesting that those things were brought up, and we're kind of seeing a little bit of a mean streak side from Naomi, justifying why she attacked Paige. So you can't help but kind of wonder to yourself just how much of a factor, if any, Naomi may play at all in the match between Paige and Nikki at Extreme Rules for the title. One thing about that Divas Battle Royal, and I thought it was like, oh wow, I haven't seen her really in a while, and it was kind of sad. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about her Tuesday night, because I have like this great vision in my head of how they could really push this young girl if they really wanted to. But I'm mad that WWE just like have not capitalized on Alicia Fox. That's all I gotta say. I'm gonna save the rest till Tuesday night, but I'm really disappointed. I mean, she has proved over the years that when you go to her, she's reliable, damn good, solid worker. My opinion, if I gotta compare her to AJ, better than AJ Lee. I'm sorry, AJ Lee fans. I know we're probably gonna have some dislike. Hey, I'm calling it for how it is. She is a better in-ring performer, a better in-ring technician than AJ Lee. I'm surprised she has not been a multi-time Divas champion by now. It sucks. It really does suck. John Cena, let's go back to him for a minute. I was giving praise to his match with Wade Barrett. Post-match, we would see the lovely Lana come out to basically distract John Cena while Rusev attacked him from behind. We now know what type of match these two men will be having at Extreme Rules for the United States title, pending that John Cena will be able to hold on to the title that long going into Extreme Rules, which is something I think that's even more funnier. It's like we got John Cena doing these open challenges, and we really need for the commentators to say, well, if John Cena can make it, hot girls alert. Christina Aguilera is on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon right now, and she's got a little bit of cleavage showing for those of you guys that want to take a look real quick. I like them nice and blonde, by the way. But well, let's see. My train of thought was interrupted. Oh, yeah. John Cena, Rusev. Yeah. So I really wish the commentators would have done a little bit of a better job and saying, if John Cena can make it to Extreme Rules, then this is what's going to be going down. He's going to have to defend his title. You think it's really a smart move that he's continuing to do these open challenges, knowing that he could lose the title at any time. And then what does this mean for Rusev? Does Rusev still get his championship match, or what happens? All this other stuff that you got to just put in the play, that the commentators, I'm hoping, because they have 2 weeks left, that they can start pushing that idea out there so that it's not so obvious John Cena will retain. But the match that these two guys are going to be having at Extreme Rules, it's going to be a chain match. Like Ghost Rider, and he has the chain and he's whipping the crap out of people, choking them with it. Yeah, that type of chain. So, you're kind of hearing that and you're saying to yourself, well, man, when was the last time we had some type of a chain match? And if you watch Raw tonight, the commentators, they show love to Ivan Koloff and all that. They brought up some chain match that went down in the 70s. But I really wish, because it would have gave wrestling fans, especially newer fans, something to do on the WWE Network, they should have mentioned No Mercy 2003, Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker biker chain match. That was like the last chain match that we had in WWE's history and recent memory, and that was a bloody freaking fest of a match that it was. I kind of wish they would have brought that up, but I'm kind of just thinking to myself, maybe they didn't bring that match up because legend has it that with regards to uh, Kid Rock, American Badass, Undertaker, keep rolling, Fred Durst, Limp Bizkit, Undertaker, Motorcycle. That version never happened, and that's the legends that I'm hearing right now. So take that with a grain of salt, but I just think it's kind of interesting that, you know, when you look back on Undertaker's career and the way they've been hyping him up the past couple of years, they kind of don't really like to acknowledge the biker. I like the biker personally. I thought he was badass. But check that out for those of you that want to check out a really good match. Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, 2003, No Mercy, biker chain match. Damn good. Other than that, those were really the main key areas that was of great interest to me for tonight's WWE Raw. Some stuff I skipped, did that on purpose. I just wanted to really talk about the meat and potatoes. All right. We're going to get to you guys' comments in just a little bit. One more time, I got to let you guys know we have a special sponsor for tonight's episode. For those of you that just might be joining us or you missed it at the very beginning, this edition of the RCWR show is being sponsored in part by GoFundMe.com/Kim's Cancer. And I want to tell you a little bit about that just to recap. There is a young teenage girl by the name of Kimberly who was diagnosed with stage 2 leukemia, and she's in a very serious battle right now for her life. Her family, they've come together. They are doing bone marrow testing to see if any of them would be a good match to help young Kimberly. And Kimberly's family, they have set up a GoFundMe page so that they can try to raise necessary funds to basically cover household bills and groceries while Kimberly is in recovery from a possible transplant. They expect her to be in the hospital for 3 months, maybe a little bit more. And then you have recovery, which could take anywhere between 6 to 8 months. So any amount that you're able to donate would greatly be appreciated. It could be $5, it could be $10, whatever you can afford. Donate. It'll go a long way. If you do not have the means to donate, you don't have the finances, it's totally okay. You could do the next best thing, which is checking out this episode description, and you can share the link on your respective social media pages, as that's another good way you can definitely help. But I definitely thank you in advance, whether you're able to help financially or you just spread the link around. I've talked with the person that set up this GoFundMe page, and I've seen the Facebook activity from the family as they post photos, video updates, and all that. And if you want links and all that, you can check out that GoFundMe link. Again, the GoFundMe link is GoFundMe.com. Kim's Cancer. That's KIMSCANCER. www.gofundme.com/Kim's Cancer. Hope you've been enjoying our episode so far. If you have, make sure you give this a thumbs up. You can also reshare it a number of ways by Facebooking it, Google Plusing it, retweeting it. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content. We will have an all new radio edition of the RCWR show, which you'll be able to catch this Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. And we got a little bit of a teaser for you guys right now, as something really cool came in the mail for me today. It's WWE related, and I'll reveal the contents of that on our podcast, and I'll also give you some details on how we're going to try to set it up in the near future to be able to get what's in that envelope. All right, so on that note, let's go ahead and let's get to you guys' comments. Feels so good to be back, man. I caught up on so much rest. Loved it, man. I caught up on all my episodes of Better Call Saul. I caught up on Walking Dead. this past season of The Walking Dead was freaking fantastic, by the way. Most dark, in-depth storytelling I've experienced from the series yet. Great stuff right there. Caught up on Lucha Underground. I burned through so much stuff on my DVR. It was like freaking ridiculous. Now I get to like OD on the Netflix Daredevil series. I'm so ecstatic for that. See what we got here. Andre says he loved Naomi's heel turn and then the great backstage promo later on the show. Time for her to shine. Andre also thinks that with regards to the stipulations that was put out there by Randy and Seth, that they both were weak. Randy Orton, as far as Andre is concerned, can still use his punt move, which is a more devastating move than the RKO that was banned from the match at Extreme Rules. And a steel cage, I would have appreciated a Hell in a Cell. Meanwhile, Weston feels that AJ Lee is so overrated. I mean, let's be real. She wouldn't ever be allowed to wear Lita's weave. Well, okay. Damn. See what else we got going on here. Trying to find some more comments from you guys. Hang on. Really? You think Neville is this generation's Dynamite Kid? Interesting. Sheamus did attack Neville and Dolph Ziggler too, didn't he? I almost had forgot about that because I was doing a little bit of multitasking. Yeah, I do remember post-match, he like kicked the hell out of Ziggler, beat the crap out of Neville, but he mainly focused his attack on Ziggler. So it's possible we may see Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler go at it at the Extreme pay-per-view. That would be interesting. I think that would be a really good match. Look, I'm feeling Sheamus. I've been wanting this man to go heel for a long time because I remember when he first came in and he got put on the main WWE roster. That was the Sheamus I fell in love with, not this 1-800 fella. I didn't care about all that silly crap. I'm glad that we got the heel Sheamus back. See what else we got here. Tron, thanks for the kind words, man. Give me some more questions, man. I'm trying to find like some really good stuff I can. There we go. Kings, quick question, Lee. Why do WWE never do tornado tags anymore? That's a good question. I see one of the answers came from Don, who thinks that maybe it's too chaotic. No, I don't think it's too chaotic. I just think that WWE, maybe the bookers possibly, maybe they're just in a situation where they're kind of going with what's most comfortable. Maybe it's something that honestly nobody's bringing up. They're focused on all this other stuff, and it's like little fine details like what you just mentioned. Maybe they don't, perfect analogy. It's like you could be walking 4 blocks down for like 4 months. You take the same path every time you go to work, every time you get off work, practically about all the shops that's in your area or whatever. But then like one day you're walking and like at the corner of your eye, you see like this really good Chinese restaurant and you're like, hey, I pretty much know everything else that's around here. That looks new. And you go there and it turns out that's been there the whole time. And you're kind of saying to yourself, maybe I should have explored the block a little more. I don't know. Maybe it could be a scenario like that. Awesome one. I must admit, I cracked up when Darren Young said, I like rainbows, but Adrian Neville is a beast. Great chemistry between Ziggler and Neville. I almost forgot about that one. Yeah, that was okay. I love how like WWE is like trying to get the primetime players over by having them bash other tag teams. And I've like somebody help me out, but like I've yet to hear any rebuttal from these tag teams. Now New Day may have said something. I'm not really sure. If they did, it might have been on last week's SmackDown. But it just seems like all these tag teams that they're bashing, like nobody has tried to offer a rebuttal yet. So the way it's looking right now, primetime players, they're gonna have like a serious beatdown by like four tag teams coming their way, man. See, Cody Haley, do you think AJ was the reason they needed the Diva Battle Royal? And also, why do you think the writers went with a cage match and Randy's match instead of banning the Authority from the building? Probably because they plan on having the Authority in some shape or form be involved in Seth Rollins' match, for starters. And then, as far as do I think AJ was the reason they needed the Diva Battle Royal? No. I think it was just something that they did to try to crown a new number one contender. But like Naomi had said in her interview with Byron, it's like, why was the Battle Royal match needed when she had defeated Nikki Bella one-on-one a couple of weeks ago, which you would think would give her the bragging rights and the opportunity to face her for the Divas title. What is the whole point of the Battle Royal? Kind of silly when you think about it. Yes, Nikki, I enjoyed my break. Well deserved. I feel very well rested. And see what else we got here. What the hell? Oh, okay. I'm like seeing something. I thought I was reading something from kayfabe commentaries there with that with that comment. All right, let's refresh one more time, and if there's nothing else, then we'll go ahead and we will wrap it up. That's a good question. What do I think of Seth Rollins as far as how's he doing as a top heel champion? Do I think he can improve or change anything to his character at all? I will talk a little bit more about that on Tuesday night. I got a lot of stuff. I've been paying attention. I've been paying attention to a lot of stuff that's been going on. I can't wait to talk about it on our podcast live this Tuesday night, 10 p.m. on Spreaker. Check it out. All the links you need is down below. And if you aren't going to be able to join us live, even more the reason why you should check out the links down below, because you'll be able to check out our episodes on great platforms such as TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, iTunes. My God, man, we are all over the place. All right. Any little nuisance question? Well, not nuisance, but any little like, do I think he's going to unveil John Cena, that is, do I think he's going to unveil a new U.S. title, or what do I think about what's going on with TNA possibly working with Evolve, Dragon Gate, and a couple other promotions? I'll talk more about that on our podcast, so make sure you check that out. All right. And one more time, we got sponsors for, so I really hope you guys are able to take advantage of that, as this is something of a great worthy cause. One more time for those of you that's joining us, young Kimberly has been diagnosed with stage 2 leukemia, and she is in a fight for her life right now. She is in need of a bone marrow transplant. Her family's trying to come together to help her out, and testing is underway right now to see if anybody would be a good match for her. And if so, then as you would imagine, surgery would begin like promptly. From there, she's going to be in the hospital for about 3 months, maybe a little more than that. Road to recovery is going to be anywhere from 6 to 8 months. Those bills and all that, those medical bills, that's going to pile up. All right. And the family needs all the financial help they can get right now, as far as groceries and, trying to take care of household bills and all that. until she can, get better. So anything that you're able to contribute really means a lot. Head on over to GoFundMe.com/Kim's Cancer. And, you see really great photos letting you know about the family and great stuff right there. You can even interact with the family on their Facebook page and all that. Send them your thoughts and prayers. And I said it twice already. I'll say it again. If you cannot donate, I can't stress this enough. If you do not have the money to donate, it's okay. You can do the next best thing. Share the GoFundMe link on your respected social media pages. That's definitely the ultimate way that you can help. All right, one show in the books. Great to be back. We'll see you Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreak, as we'll be covering. Razor, I don't care about the freaking Marine, man. Razor asking me if I care about them. I look, I didn't see the other 2 or 3 or whatever the hell those things were, Marine 5 at the Pizza Hut carrier. I don't care about that crap, man. All right, so we got one show in the books. We'll see you Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. Make sure you join us for that. Be sure to give this a thumbs up. When you do, you're basically showing your support and appreciation for us YouTube video creators. Share this a number of ways by Facebooking it, Google Plusing it, retweeting it. Always one of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content. Good night, good morning, be safe, be kind to one another, and until next go round, may the good news be yours. Take care.